Welcome back to Pride Reviews, folks. June is here. To kick off Pride Month, we turn our attention to the realm of French cinema and explore a captivating selection of the best LGBTQ-themed films. From enchanting love stories to thought-provoking narratives, these movies beautifully depict the myriad of experiences within the queer community. But first, if you're new to our channel, please make sure to hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so you'll be notified about our new updates.
Celine Sciamma's exploration of friendship, love, and art is an absolute masterpiece. Portrait of a Lady on Fire won the Queer Palm at Cannes and was praised for its historical accuracy, fantastic screenplay, and breathtaking cinematography. And let's not forget the music. If you haven't watched the movie yet, prepare to get chills during the bonfire chanting scene. Set in the 18th century, the movie's about a young female artist, Noémie Merlant, who is commissioned to paint a portrait on a remote island. Slowly, she gets to know the aloof subject of her portrait, Adèle Haenel, and eventually begins to tutor her. Le regard féminin, the female gaze, has rarely been so powerfully captured on screen. Directed by Robin Campillo, who also made Les Revenants, 2004, the film that inspired the series of the same name, this contemporary classic stars Noël Pérez Bisquiart and Arnaud Valois. They play two members of ACT UP, an advocacy group formed at the height of the AIDS epidemic in the 1990s. ACT UP France protested against the French government's inadequate response to the growing HIV/AIDS crisis, and the film portrays the heartbreaking plight of the group's members as they navigate life, love, and activism under a plague. Adèle Haenel, who features in 3 of the films on our list, gives a wonderful performance as usual. Post-New Wave French director André Téchiné teamed up with Celine Sciamma, who directed 3 films on this list, to write the screenplay for Being 17. The movie's French title comes from Arthur Rimbaud's poem Roman, which begins, "One is not serious when one is 17." This lyrical film is about the sexual awakening of 2 high school classmates, Corentin Fila and Casey Motet-Klein, who start out as enemies, but when forced to live under the same roof, realize that they have feelings for each other. Both young actors shine in this film, as does Sandrine Kiberlin, who plays the mother of one of the 2 boys. The will he or won't he turn him intention in Alain Garatti's Stranger by the Lake has earned it comparisons to Alfred Hitchcock's suspense films like Shadow of a Doubt. Pierre Deladonchamps plays Frank, a solitary man who spends his summer vacation cruising for hookups at a secluded gay beach at Lac de Saint Croix in Provence. Charmed by Michel, a new member of the lake's community who sports an excellent mustache, he decides to pursue an affair with him. The problem is that Frank's the only person who witnessed Michel drown another man in the lake. A fascinating meditation on desire and vulnerability, Stranger by the Lake might very well be the best gay murder mystery out there. Lawrence Anyways tells the story of a transgender woman over the course of 10 years, beginning with her decision to announce her transition to her girlfriend Fred, Suzanne Clement. Clement and Melville Papad, who plays Lawrence, are both perfect in the film. Director Xavier Dolan chooses to explore their relationship as well as Lawrence's evolving relationship with her mother, rather than simply focusing on the transphobia Lawrence faces. Love Songs is a musical about a ménage à trois with a 1960s Nouvelle Vague feel. Ismaël, Louis Garrel, and Julie Ludivine Sagnier lead a blissfully romantic existence in Paris and are as likely to sing their thoughts as speak them. They meet a variety of equally passionate young people as they wander through the dreamlike city, and they invite Alice, Clotilde Hesme, into their lives and into their bed. The delicate balance of their idyllic world is threatened when death intrudes unexpectedly, challenging them to keep love alive through loss and mourning. It is a dark comedy with an intriguing structure, variously sad, funny, and bizarre in equal measures. Eastern Boys is a 2013 French romance drama film written and directed by Robin Campio. When an elderly Frenchman in Paris, Muller, requests a young Eastern European male prostitute to visit his house, the latter agrees. When the visit occurs, the elderly man gets the shock of his life. This film is not for the faint-hearted. It's fairly full-on, powerful, and moving. The language bar is very low. Shot in French, English, and Russian. A very realistic, raw image of illegal immigrants and a very sensitive story of deception, love, and protection. Just a Question of Love is a 2000 French-Belgian drama television film directed by Christian Faure. After his gay cousin dies from hepatitis, young Laurent, who lives with his best friend Carol, falls in love with Cedric, a plant scientist. He's afraid to inform his conservative parents that he is gay. Such elegant performance by the actors that their chemistry feels so real. This film was watched by 6.3 million viewers, a very high score, when first shown in prime time, 9 p.m., on French public network France 2. In the following 2 weeks, the network only received 3 protest letters, while both male stars got more than 2,000 letters of praise each. Reviews had also been widely enthusiastic. The well-acted queer romance, Lie With Me, offers a tender, tear-jerking ode to first loves lost, but not forgotten. Celebrated novelist Stéphane Belcourt travels to his hometown after over 30 years. There, he meets Lucas, the son of Thomas, his secret teenage love. Lucas, inquisitive for information on his now-deceased father, sets off turbulent emotions in the writer as his mind is flooded with memories of Thomas and their summer of love. Light, spirited, and yet complex, Lie With Me * is a mildly intoxicating cinematic refreshment. Savage, known in English Wild, is a 2018 French drama film, directed by Camille Vidal-Naquet and produced by Emmanuel Giroux and Marie Saint-Jensen. It stars Félix Méritot in the lead role, with Eric Bernard, Nicolas Dibla, and Philippe Aurel. Savage opens with a scene that feels not unfamiliar if you've been taking in a lot of the queer cinema coming over from France these days. It's set in a doctor's office, and the patient is a handsome young man who looks like he's been roughed up by both another person and by life itself. He complains of a cough, and when he removes his t-shirt there's a bruise on his midriff. "How long have you had that?" he is asked. The young man can't say, nor can he say how he got it. He fell, maybe. This film is raw and poignant, painful yet sensual. It left me in tears. Press Grain, which is also known as Come Undone, is a 2000 French-Belgian romantic drama film directed by Sebastian Lifshitz, set in Brittany. Depicting a stormy holiday romance between 2 teenagers and what remains of that relationship 18 months later. Story of 2 gorgeous, young French boys who begin a passionate relationship that boils over and threatens to destroy both their lives. Shy Matthew, Jeremy Elkame, is 18 years old and on summer vacation in the south of France. He spends his days lazily sunning himself at the beach until he spies the handsome Cedric, Stéphane Rideau, and falls in love. The film, like a dream, flows back and forth between the past and present, often asking us to fill the deliberate jumps in time. Paris 559. Theo and Hugo, also known as Theo and Hugo in some territories, is a 2016 French erotic romantic drama film written and directed by Olivier de Castel and Jacques Martineau. The film won the Audience Award at the Berlin Festival's 2016 Teddy Awards. 2 men meet in a club, become entangled in a passionate embrace, and spend the night getting to know each other. As they wander through the empty streets of Paris, they must confront the feelings that are growing between them. A very nice story that follows the story for 2 hours and feels very real with every minute. Notre Paradis, also known as Our Paradise, is a 2011 French film written and directed by Gail Morel. Vasily is an aging Paris hustler who has a hard time accepting he is growing too old for his profession. He lashes out by strangling one of his clients who had commented on his age. Later that night, he finds an unconscious teenager in the Bois de Boulogne, a cruising park, who is apparently also hustling and has been beaten and robbed. The boy claims not to remember his name or anything else from his past, so Vasily takes him to his apartment and christens the boy Angelo due to his angelic appearance and an angel tattoo on his abdomen. The two begin a relationship that is purely hookup at first, but later develops into a romantic connection and savage serial killings by the pair of older or defenseless gay men. Our Paradise is an intriguing and involving adventure that takes darker twists and turns you'd expect. Comme un frère, Like a Brother, is a 2005 French feature film directed by Bernard Olepetit and Cyril Legan based on their own screenplay. The film describes the fate of young Sebastian, who comes from the countryside to Paris to start a new life here. Sebastian is an introverted and shy 20-year-old who moved from La Balle-Escoublac to Paris to live with his father. He changes his name to Zach and decides to change his life as well. He meets Bruno, but in his memories he keeps going back to his best friend Romain and the events that happened a year ago. When Romain calls him that he is in Paris on an internship, they meet in the Luxembourg Gardens, but their relationship is not as warm as before. Wild Side is a 2004 drama film directed by Sebastian Lifshitz and starring Stephanie Michelini, Yasmin Belmadi, and Edouard Nicotin. It premiered at the 2004 Berlin International Film Festival. A transsexual prostitute leaves Paris for the French countryside to care for her dying mother. In tow are her two lovers, Mikhail, a Russian army deserter, and Jamal, a French Arab who also occasionally works as a prostitute to earn a little extra cash. The film tells, through both flashback and their growing relationships in the isolated farm, how they each came to their current life, but does so with humanity and affection. The Lost Boys Le Paradis is a Belgian-French drama film, directed by Zeno Grayton and released in 2023. The film centers on a romance between Joe, Khalil Ben Garbia, and William, Julien de Saint-Jean, two teenagers incarcerated in a youth detention center. Is it possible to discover freedom within prison walls? 17-year-old Joe is preparing to leave the detention center where he has spent the past few years, but the arrival of William, a new inmate, will reshape his concept of what freedom truly means. Zeno Grayton's electrifying and self-assured debut captures a love of rare strength and sensitivity while also examining prevailing notions of masculinity, sexuality, and power structures through a different lens. The Lost Boys is born at the intersection of Jean Genet's Song of Love, 1950, and the recent Great Freedom, 2021, where deeply societal cinema gains the right to romance, hope, and poetry that can flourish like a flower even in the cracks of the harshest walls. Hidden Kisses is a 2016 French television film directed by Didier Bivol about the coming-out process of two gay teenagers. When 16-year-old Nathan lives alone with his father Stefan. A newcomer in high school, he is invited to a party and falls in love with Louis, a boy in his class. They find themselves out of sight and kiss each other, but someone takes a picture of them. Soon, the photo is published on Facebook and a storm overtakes their lives as they face bullying and rejection. Some excellent performances and some lovely touching moments of how these issues can affect families. You should definitely check this one out. I Am Jonas is a French coming-of-age gay-themed movie released in 2018 and directed by Christophe Charrier. The film is also known as Boys and Jonas. The film, a delightful slow burn, depicts Jonas at two very different points in his life, first as an unhappy, aimless gay man living in the city, and also as an optimistic. The film's quiet moments speak the loudest. One of the most touching scenes features Jonas and Nathan sharing an illicit cigarette inside their school's gym, a palpable sexual tension between them as they break the rules. You can feel a deep sense of connection between them, with a subtext of how hard and difficult such a romance will be in a homophobic 90s French high school. Despite all of the inevitable challenges, the two boys kiss, a thrilling moment. Utterly mysterious and haunting, it's a painful ride that you will enjoy from the very beginning till the very end. This Special Friendships is a 1964 film adaptation of the Roger Parfitt novel of the same name, directed by Jean Delanoy. A pair of star-crossed lovers. This Special Friendship tells of the tender relationship between a 12-year-old boy and the upper-class man who is the object of his desire. All set in the rigid atmosphere of a Jesuit-run school. In the source novel, Georges Dessart is 14 years old and Alexander Motier is 12 years old. However, the year in which the film was made, the actors Francis Lacombrade was 22 years old and Didier Hautepin was 13 years old. The chemistry between the boys is so adorable that'll make you rewind and rewatch the film. Even though this movie was way ahead of its time, but still, hats off to the entire production team for putting out there the world to see when this plot was off the topics for most cinemas. Beautreveil is a 1999 French film directed by Claire Denis that is loosely based on Herman Melville's 1888 novella Billy Budd. The story is set in Djibouti, where the protagonists are soldiers in the French Foreign Legion. This film focuses on ex-Foreign Legion officer Gallup as he recalls his once glorious life of leading troops in the Gulf of Djibouti. His existence there was happy, strict, and regimented, but the arrival of promising young recruit Sentine plants the seeds of jealousy in Gallup's mind. He feels compelled to stop him from coming to the attention of the commandant he admires, but who ignores him. Ultimately, his jealousy leads to the destruction of both Sentine and himself.
If you enjoyed watching this video, then check out these two recent clips, and make sure to hit the subscribe button for more interesting topics.